Welcome back to this channel. This presentation is focused on the speech segment. What is a speech segment? In linguistics, a segment is any discrete unit that can be physically or auditorily identified in a stream of speech. The term is most used in phonetics and phonology to refer to the smallest elements in a language, and this usage can be synonymous with the term phone. What is a phone in phonology? In the context of spoken languages, a phone is an analyzed sound of a language. A phone is a speech segment that possesses distinct physical or perceptual properties and serves as the basic unit of phonetic speech analysis. Phones are generally either vowels or consonants. What are segments of speech? Segments, usually phonological units of the language, such as vowels and sounds, are of concise duration. Utterances are then built of linear sequences of segments. Typically, a speech segment lasts approximately 30 to 300 milliseconds. So phonetic segments that form a syllable. So we learned that when we talk about segment, it pertains to a phonological unit of the language, such as vowels and sounds. So in segmental phonology, this pertains to the idea that speech sounds can be divided into discrete segments. A segment is the smallest unit of the language, and any individual sound, um, that segment theory is also used in morphology and syntax in order to break down languages into their parts. What about a phoneme segmentation? A phoneme segmentation is the ability to break words down into individual sounds. For example, a child may break the word sand into its component sounds and so sound. No? So um, a syllable is a phonological unit that involves one or more phonemes. And syllables can show us how phonemes appear in particular sequences. Each syllable has a nucleus, always a vowel, and an onset of a coda, usually consonants. So, a syllable is also considered the largest phonological unit, one or a group of sounds of a word, and is like the rhythmic beat of the word. And they should be able to orally blend syllables together in order to form words and segment words into syllables. What about a phonetic unit? Now, traditionally, the minimal linguistic unit of phonetics is the phone, a speech sound in a language that differs from the phonological unit of phoneme. The phoneme is the abstract categorization of the phones, and it is also defined as the smallest unit that discerns meaning between sounds in any given language. So, in speech, a segment is any one of the discrete units that occur in a sequence of sounds that can be broken into phonemes, syllables, or words in spoken language through a process called speech segmentation. So, speech segmentation is that process of identifying then the boundaries between words, syllables, or phonemes in spoken natural languages. Now, why is it that this topic is very important? A speech segmentation, remember, this is the process by which the brain determines where one meaningful unit word, such as a word or morpheme, ends and the next begins in a continuous speech. And it is critical for auditory language processing. What is sound segmentation? Segmenting is the ability to break up spoken words into their separate sounds. For example, as we spell the word fish, we segment it into three sounds, also known as phonemes. So, oral segmenting is a phonetic awareness skill and a crucial building block of independent reading and writing. A word segmentation is the problem of splitting a string of written language into its components. So, segmenting involves identifying individual sounds. I'm referring to the phonemes in a word. So, learners should practice segmenting initial sounds, onset rhyme, and individual sounds in a word. So, what is word segmentation? A word segmentation or segmenting words involves breaking them down into their constituent sounds, which are called phonemes. So these sounds can then be written down as graphemes and blended in order to form the word. Segmenting, again, is a crucial skill and that learners will need to learn to read and write effectively. So we will go to the speech segmentation as a process of identifying boundaries between words or phonemes in a spoken natural language. So, um, in other words, this terminology applies to both our mental processes, which exactly are used by human beings, and to artificial processes of natural language processing. So since we deal with mental processes, what then are the cognitive processes of speech production? Speech production refers to the cognitive processes engaged in going from mind to mouth, no? That is the processes of transforming a non-linguistic conceptual structure representing communicative intention into a linguistically well-formed utterance. Psychologically, humans hear speech but interpret the segments of sound in order to formulate meaning from language. Now, linguist John Goldsmith has described these segments as vertical slices of speech stream forming into a method in which the mind is able to interpret each uniquely as they relate to one another. So, Dr. John Goldsmith's work has focused on phonological theory on Bantu tone systems and on computational morphology. So, since speech segmentation refers to the processes or the process of dividing a speech signal into segments or sections based on specific criteria such as short time energy and spectral centroid. These segments are then used for further analysis or processing, such as removing silence or identifying specific features of the speech. So again, these speech segments are very important in the study of phonology. The distinction between hearing and perceiving is fundamental to understanding phonology. Though the concept may be hard to grasp, it essentially boils down to understanding that in speech segmentation, we break down the individual phonetic sounds that we hear, these discrete segments. So, what is the process of breaking words into individual sounds? Um, phoneme, phoneme blending is the ability to blend or join individual sounds together to make a word. When we come to phoneme segmentation, this pertains to that ability to break apart a word into its individual sounds. For example, you can blend the sounds to get the word cat, and you can segment the spoken word cat into the sounds. So that is pertaining to the speech segments. Now, take for instance the word pen. While we hear the collection of sounds that make up the word, we understand and interpret the three letters as unique segments. Now, pen. So, the set of all features forms a model of a language and its structure. The portion of speech with relatively constant phonetic features is called a phonetic segment. So what are phonetically similar segments? Phonetically similar segments are two or more sounds which share phonetic features and are frequently found as variants of a single phonological unit in a language. So most phonetically similar segments are adjacent to each other in a phone chart and differ only slightly in one or two articulatory features. So you can segment or break apart any word to recognize the sounds or phonemes in that word in order to figure out how many phonemes a word has. It's best to say the word out loud to focus on the sounds that make up the word rather than looking at the letters on paper. So in this study, we may come across with allophones, which are phonemes and which are meaningfully different sound units in a language, the smallest units of sound. For example, the word pat and bat differ in the first phoneme, the and the no. So vowels are also phonemes. So pat and pet differ by a phoneme too, but phonemes don't always match up with the spelling. So what is phonetic sounding out of words? Sounding out a word refers to the process of decoding a word by identifying the sounds of each individual letter in the word and then blending those sounds together. So a learner sounds out a word when he does not know the identity of such a word. What does it mean to sound out words phonetically? Phonetics describes the way that spoken words sound. So to sound out an unfamiliar word, you break it into its phonetic parts, saying each in the order in which it appears. Now let's go to this image. Look at the image and notice how the man is able to uh, segment the word table into its phonemes with the consonant, the vowel A, and the consonant blend rule. No? So um, again, what are phonetic segments of words? These phonetic segments form a syllable. So the syllable can also be defined in phonological terms and itself represents a level of higher linguistic organization. So another category of phonetic description is the phonetic setting. So what is a phonetic set? Now, uh, a phonetic set or phonetic lexical set is a lexical set whose members are words which are pronounced with the same vowel sound in the reference accents. So how do you describe a phonetic environment? In phonetics and linguistics, the phonetic environment of a given instance of a speech sound or phone consists of the other phones adjacent to and or surrounding it, like the presentation on screen. No, we segment the word table using its phonemes with the consonant T and the vowel and the consonant L within the phonetic environment. So we come to the other key difference between speech and phonetic segmentation or phonology is that speech refers to the full act of speaking and understanding the oral use of language, while phonology refers to the rules that govern how we are able to interpret these utterances based on their segments. So, what then is the difference between speech and phonetic segmentation? Now, based on research, we can conclude that phonetics discusses speech sounds and is a physical and ordinary phenomenon, while phonemics discusses the vocal sound system and deals with the roles of sounds and is a mental or an abstract phenomenon. How do we distinguish phonology and speech? Now, phonetics, yes, we learned that it is the study of speech sounds as physical entities, their articulation, acoustic properties, and how they are perceived. Now, and phonology, which is the study of the organization and the function of speech sounds as a part of the grammar of the language. Now, what about the study of Frank Parker and Catherine Riley? They put it in another way in linguistics for non-linguists by saying that speech refers to the physical or physiological phenomena and phonology refers to the mental or psychological phenomena. Phonology works in the mechanics of how humans interpret language when spoken. Now, um, what is the major concept of phonology? Now, we heard about phonology as the study of patterns of sounds in a language across languages. So, put more formally, phonology is the study of the categorical organization of speech sounds in languages. How speech sounds are organized in the mind and used to convey meaning. No? What about the physiological processes in speech? The physiological processes of speech, no, speech production are realized by combined sequential actions of the speech organs for phonation and articulation. And these activities result in sound propagation phenomena in the three levels: the subglottal cavities, cavities of the vocal tract, and the nasal and the paranasal cavities. No? What about the physical features of sound? Um, Physiological differences, including the size of the throat and larynx, both overall and about the rest of the vocal tract, are largely responsible for the different pitch ranges characteristics of any individual speech, and these differences do not affect one's ability or aptitude to speak any particular language. Now, is there such a thing as phonetic processing in psychology? Now, based on research and the International Encyclopedia of the Social and Behavioral Sciences in 2015, phonological processing refers to the cognitive ability, involved in detecting, discriminating, and producing speech sounds for speech understanding. So, again, why is there a need to learn about phonological awareness in psychology? Phonological awareness, mind you, is the ability to recognize and to manipulate spoken parts of sentences and words. Examples uh, include being able to identify words that rhyme, recognizing alliteration, repetition of the consonant sounds at the beginning of words in connected text, and our segmenting fall under this phonological awareness. So we have Andrew Seiler, who used the 8 English words to illustrate the idea that the articulatory figures of segments are easily demonstrable given well-chosen examples in his book Language History and Introduction. So there are articulators of speech. So the main articulators are the tongue, as shown on our uh, picture. No? The upper lip, the lower lip, the upper teeth, the upper gum ridge, or your alveolar ridge, the hard palate, the velum, the soft palate, the uvula, free hanging end of the soft palate, and the pharyngeal wall, and the glottis, the space between the vocal cords. No? So the words cats, tax, stack, cast, tast, asked, sacked, and scat, he states, each contain the same four evidently discrete components. In very crude phonetics, the S, nanas, and A. In each of these words, the four separate components form what Seiler calls complex articulations, like steak, which we are able to interpret as uniquely separated in terms of sound. So again, the discrete components of language is an item of language isolated from the contexts, no? And it can be individual sound, uh, word, phrase. The examples of discrete items could be a simple phoneme such as the one that we asserted a while ago. So we have here the term segment is most used in phonetics and phonology to refer to the smallest elements in a language, and this usage can be synonymous with the term phone. Now, in linguistics, now, a segment is any discrete unit that can be identified either physically or auditorily. We have learned it a while ago. So this term most used in phonetics and phonology, now, to refer to the smallest elements, and this usage can be synonymous with the term phone. So in the context of spoken languages, a phone, no, as we have mentioned a while ago, is an analyzed sound of a language, and it is a speech segment with distinct physical or perceptual properties, and is the basic unit of that phonetic speech analysis. So they are generally either vowels or consonants. Uh, a phoneme is a set of allophones or individual non-contrastive speech segments. So allophones, no, are sounds, while a phoneme is a set of sounds. Allophones are usually relatively similar sounds that are mutually exclusive or complementary distribution. Okay? In spoken languages, segments will typically be grouped into consonants and vowels. No? But the term can be applied to any minimal unit of a linear sequence meaningful to the given field of analysis. So, what's the difference between a vowel and a consonant? So, vowel sounds allow the air to flow freely when we're going to pronounce it, causing the chin to drop noticeably, while consonant sounds are produced by restricting the airflow. Okay, so let's come to the speech segments: vowels and consonants, mora or syllable in prosodic phonology, morpheme in morphology, and kereme in sign language. So what are vowels and consonants in phonology? Phonetically, it is easy to give definitions to a vowel, which is any sound with no audible noise produced by constriction in the vocal tract, and a consonant which is a sound with audible noise produced by a constriction. So, what is mora in phonology? A mora, it's a plural form. Its plural form is morae or moras, often symbolized, no, with this particular symbol. Is a basic timing unit in the phonology of spoken languages, equal to or shorter than a syllable. So let's go to the prosodic phonology. Prosodic phonology deals with the phenomena of stress and rhythm, as well as prosodic units as domains of phonological processes such as lengthening and assimilation. As each theory deals with different aspects of uh, prosody, each has its units. So, what is morpheme? The other end in morphology. Um, Morphology, yes, we learned that it is a study of words and their parts. Morphemes, like prefixes, infixes, suffixes, and base words, are defined as the smallest meaningful units of meaning. So, morphemes are important for phonics in both reading and spelling, as well as in vocabulary and comprehension. What about kereme in sign language? In linguistics, kereme pertains to any of small set of elements analogous to phoneme in speech, proposed as the basic structural units by which the signs of a sign language are represented, no, and including the hand shapes, hand movements, no, and locations of the hands in relation to the body employed in a particular sign language. In other words, the kereme is described by hand shape, movement, and location of the hand, which can be said to express the 3D features of the sign language. First, a dictionary for recognizing sign language is made, no, based on the kereme. Now we go to the um, speech segments, no, which are called discrete. Why are they discrete? Because they are, at least at some analytical level, separate and individual and temporarily ordered. So segments are generally not completely discrete in speech production or perception. However, the articulatory, visual, and acoustic cues that encode them overlap, according to the study. So, to reiterate, in segmental phonology, this is pertaining to the idea that speech sounds can be divided into discrete segments. A segment, again, is the smallest unit of language, and any individual sound for that matter. So, a segment theory is also used in morphology, syntax, not to break down languages into their component parts. Then we will go to the suprasegmentals. Now, other articulatory, visual, or acoustic cues such as prosody, tone stress, and secondary articulations such as nasalization, no? Palatalization, labialization are known as suprasegmentals. When we come to suprasegmentals, we refer that to speech features such as tone, rhythm, or loudness. Basically, anything that isn't a standalone sound. And they signal grammatical differences, emotions, and continuity about a native speaker will automatically pick up on. So, what are the main components of suprasegmentals? These are the features that exactly appear in utterance, which does not include in any single segment. Therefore, in suprasegmental, there are 5 major types. Those are stress, tone, intonation, length, and the syllable. So, prosody is the study of the tune and rhythm of speech and how these features contribute to meaning. Prosody is the study of those aspects of speech that typically apply to a level above that of the individual phoneme and very often to sequences of words in prosodic phrases. So, tone plays a prominent role in the study of phonology because of its structural complexity. That is, in many languages, the way a tone surfaces is conditioned by factors such as the segmental composition of the morpheme, the tonal specifications of the surrounding constituents, the morphosyntax, and intonation. What then is tone prosody? Tone. Tone refers to pitch patterns that make lexical, grammatical, or morphological contrast in many languages. Intonation refers to the melodic facets of prosody, although the terms are sometimes interchangeable. Prosodic stress or sentence stress refers to stress patterns that apply at a higher level than the individual word namely within a prosodic unit. So, what then is stress in prosody? Prosody or prosodic stress refers to the prominence that one or more syllables receive relative to others in a given word. So, the prominence of stress syllables is attained using pitch, length, and volume. What about the secondary articulation in phonology? Okay, in phonetics, the secondary articulation occurs when the articulation of a consonant is equivalent to the combined articulations of 2 or 3 simpler consonants, at least one of which is approximately or the approximant. The secondary articulation of such co-articulated consonants is the approximant, like in the articulation. What about nasalization in phonology? In phonetics, nasalization is the production of a sound, while the velum is lowered, such that some air escapes to the nose during the production of the sound by the mouth. An archetypal nasal sound is No? What is palatalization in phonology? Palatalization in phonetics pertains to the production of the consonants with the blade or front of the tongue drawn up further toward the roof of the mouth, the hard palate, than in their normal pronunciation. What about labialization in phonology? A labialization is a secondary articulatory feature of sounds in some languages. So labialized sounds involve the lips, while the remainder of the oral cavity produces another sound. The term is normally restricted to consonants, so when vowels involve the lips, they are called rounded, labialized. What about the purpose of suprasegmentals in phonology? In phonology, suprasegmentals refer to speech features such as tone, rhythm, or loudness, basically anything that isn't a standalone sound. So they signal, again, these grammatical differences, emotions, and continuity that a native speaker will automatically pick it up on. So we will go to pitch. Um, Pitch is in suprasegmental information that includes the pitch, the loudness, the length of sounds, and these factors contribute to the rhythm and stress patterns of spoken language. So what is pitch in suprasegmental phonology? The primary pieces of suprasegmental information are the pitch of sounds, the loudness, and the length. So the pitch of a sound is how high or how is it low. We produce high-pitched sounds when our vocal folds have a high frequency vibration, and when our vocal folds vibrate more slowly, the resulting sound is lower in pitch. So what is loudness in phonetics? Loudness depends on amplitude. Vibrations of greater amplitude require more energy. Consequently, loudness is related to the energy in the sound, and the sound provided with greater amplitude is more loud. Now, in phonetics, length or quantity is a feature of sounds that have distinctively extended duration compared with other sounds. There are as long vowels as well as long consonants, and the latter are often called geminates. What about rhythm in phonology? Okay, rhythm is a form of structure that plays an organizing role in speech. No? Despite this all-inclusiveness of potential rhythmic sources, no? In speech, some processes play a more dominant role than others in identifying what is commonly felt to be more rhythm of a phrase. What about stress pattern in phonology? Now, the stress pattern of a word is the way all the syllables are stressed in it. And there can be main and secondary stress or unstressed sounds, and there are different ways to show the stress pattern of a word. Large and small circles can be used as in the example mentioned. Now, when we come to rhythmic uh, patterns in speech, these are exactly dependent on the word forms we use. So in phonetics, there are two word forms, the strong forms and the weak forms. So the strong form of a word refers to when a word is fully stressed when pronounced. So when this happens, the vowel sounds in the word become longer. So the stress pattern of a word is the way all the syllables are stressed in it. And there can be main and secondary stress or unstressed sounds. There are different ways to show the stress pattern of a word. It can be large and small circles, though, which can be used as I have mentioned a while ago. So, how do these stress patterns work? With verbs of two syllables, if the second, for instance, syllable of the verb contains a long vowel or a diphthong, or if it ends with more than one consonant, the second syllable is stressed. So with verbs of two syllables, if the final syllable contains a short vowel and one or no final consonant, the first syllable is stressed. Okay? So in phonetics, the smallest perceptible segment is a phone. In phonology, there is a subfield of segmental phonology that deals with the analysis of speech into phonemes or segmental phonemes, which correspond fairly well to phonetic segments of the analyzed speech. So, in a nutshell, what is phonetics? Branch of linguistics that focuses on the production and classification of the world's speech sound. So, the production of speech looks at the interaction of the different vocal organs. for example, the lips, the tongue, the teeth, to produce particular sounds. While phonetics is a branch of linguistics that studies how humans produce and perceive sounds, or the case of a sign language, the equivalent aspects of sign. So linguists which specialize in studying the physical properties of speech are phoneticians. What about a phone? So in the context of spoken languages, no, a phone is an analyzed sound, as we have mentioned a while ago, of a language. A phone is a speech segment that processes distinct physical or perceptual properties and serves as the basic unit of speech analysis. And they are either vowels or consonants. So, in a nutshell, phonology is the study of sounds in a language and across languages. Put more formally, phonology is the study of the categorical organization of speech sounds in languages, how speech sounds are organized in the mind and used to convey meaning. Then about the phoneme is defined again the smallest distinct sound unit in a language that distinguishes between words. Each language now has its own set of phonemes, which are essential for automatic speech recognition systems in order to classify and recognize. Again, my sincere thanks and gratitude for spending your precious time to watch this simple presentation. My commendation is extended to Jericho Luceno for making the PowerPoint. I hope that you would keep track on the next presentation on English phonology, including morphology, in the upcoming loads, the upcoming uploads. So thank you for watching, and may God bless us all. Bye for now.